Hi everyone, my name's Indy. If you don't already know, I'm a member of the marketing team here at Dacxi Chain. Today, I have the incredible privilege of introducing you to an event that we've all been preparing for. We are all paused to launch the Dacxi Chain, the world's pioneering global equity crowdfunding network. We saw the groundbreaking potential of this initiative when it was born 6 years ago, nurtured it through determination and innovation, and today we stand at the threshold of its reveal. Together, we will explore the detail of our platform, which is at the heart of our ambitious network. And who better to guide us through this than our CEO, Ian Lowe? His leadership and relentless drive has played an instrumental role in turning our shared dream into reality. This isn't just a webinar you've joined today, but a celebration of innovation and a milestone of our journey, and a tribute to the potential of the global equity crowdfunding. For everyone who's new to Dacxi Chain, welcome. And to everyone who's been with us for the long haul, you know who you are, and it's been a pleasure. So let's not delay any further and dive into this new chapter of our story. The future of crowdfunding starts here now. So welcome to the Dacxi Chain launch.
Over the years, I've had some extraordinary professional experiences. I've led 2 ASX-listed companies. I founded a global media network, and I've raised over $100 million in growth capital. And over that journey, I've learned some really important lessons. Foremost among those is that success is not just about having access to the capital. It's about believing in what you're doing. It's about having the determination to see that belief through. And it's about building a great team of people around you. The world is full of great ideas. But all of those great ideas need to be funded. And one of the greatest challenges that innovators and founders have today is access to growth capital. And the problem for the entrepreneur, if they can't get the funding, is that the innovation dies right there. They need the funding for their innovation to become a reality. When I was first exposed to the Dacxi Chain vision, I was really amazed by its boldness and the scope of its ambition. But I've also lived as an innovator, understanding the problems that it solves. So for me, that vision resonated incredibly powerfully. And I feel like the opportunity to realize that vision is right here, right now. There is a really important win-win that comes from Dacxi Chain. On one side, you've got investors, where we democratize their access to high-quality investment opportunities, access they wouldn't normally have. And on the other side, we're providing a path to capital for innovators that need that capital so they can innovate. Blockchain technology as a borderless technology allows scale for crowdfunding platforms that this industry has never seen before. This is Dacxi Chain, the world's first global equity crowdfunding network. This is our journey, and we invite you to be a part of it. Thanks, Indy. Welcome, everybody. It's a little bit uncomfortable to watch myself on screen, but you're stuck with me for the next few minutes. So look, I think it's fair to say there's an enormous amount of excitement that's built up over a very long period of time about getting to this particular point. You'll be pleased to know this is not a long presentation, but there's some really important things that we want to share throughout. I'm just going to give a really, really quick sort of backdrop to Dacxi Chain, the problem it solves, the opportunity that creates. Then we're going to do a couple of things that I've wanted to do for a little while. The first is we're going to give you a really quick look at the platform. I'm just going to talk you through a video that explains how the platform works at a very high level. We're also going to share with you some of the foundation partners that we're working with. These are established equity crowdfunding platforms. So I'm excited to be able to share that with you. But the other thing we're going to do today is we're going to tell you exactly when we will be announcing the first deal that's ready to go through the Dacxi Chain network. So look, without any further ado, let's get into the presentation. So if we can go to the, here we are. Okay. So look, I'm not going to dwell on this. I think it's probably well understood by, if not all of you, close to all of you. So what is Dacxi Chain? Look, we're a technology platform, and what we enable is regulated, licensed equity crowdfunding platforms anywhere in the world to connect with each other. Why would we do that? Well, creating that network, the world's first ECF network, it reimagines the scale of what crowdfunding can achieve. And in the process, it completely redefines its role in the global innovation economy. And I'm going to share a couple of numbers very quickly with you on that. I think the benefits of the scale that are achievable through this network flow to all of the participants, all the stakeholders, the companies that need to raise the capital, the investors looking for great opportunities to invest, and the platforms that actually synchronize or bring those two parties together that sit in the middle, which of course are the partners in the Dacxi chain. So look, as we sit here today, the value of the global equity crowdfunding market is somewhere between $1 and $2 billion US dollars, depending on which numbers that you look at, but they all sort of sit in that range. So if we take a big step back and we ask ourselves, what is the seat at the table that equity crowdfunding has in the broader global venture economy or innovation economy? It's quite a bit less than 1%. So in other words, we look at that and we ask ourselves why. Why is it so underrepresented when the potential of equity crowdfunding is just so significant? And there's really two primary reasons. The first is that it lacks scale because it's almost exclusively local. So these are local deals connected to local investors on a local platform. Okay, so that local construct limits its scale and therefore limits the amount of capital that can flow and the number of deals that are attracted to that capital. And the second is that at the retail end of the investor spectrum, which of course is what crowdfunding is all about, the limited liquidity of holding shares in a privately held business is, it creates friction in the process for certain investors, not for everyone, but for certain investors. So these are the two primary hurdles that we believe are impeding equity crowdfunding as a proposition and stopping it from reaching its true potential. So if we just move on, let's talk about, the current state of equity crowdfunding. So I think it's probably well understood again by if not all of you, most of you, but this is a platform where deals are being offered to investors, and on one side you have a catalog of those deals or investment opportunities. On the other side, you have a crowd that can sort through those and invest in the ones that they think are interesting or offer the best potential. Now, the way that those platforms make money is that they will take, typically it's in the 5 to 10% range in the form of a fee for any capital that they raise. So that fee is paid by the company that's raising the funds, it's paid to the platform, and it's paid purely based on success. Okay, so it's, you don't raise any capital, 5 to 10% of nothing is not very much. So I think that model again is probably very, very well understood. So really what these platforms are is they're marketplaces where deals are curated and offered to investors. There's a pool of investors that can participate in any of those. And each local platform that operates, depending on the market in which it operates and the scale of that market, usually has somewhere between 10 and 100 deals a year. And they have somewhere around about 10,000, sometimes more, sometimes a lot more, investors or investors that sit inside the crowd. Okay, so that, I think all of that is probably well understood. If we just move on, I want to talk a little bit about what the network effect achieves. So we take all of these local, established, regulated, licensed platforms, and we connect them through the Dacxi Chain network to each other. And what that effectively does is it creates this world's first global equity crowdfunding network. What this does is it creates immediate scale. And so the impact of that scale is it makes equity crowdfunding a lot more attractive to both the companies that want to raise funds so they can grow and the investors looking for great investment opportunities. And with that comes exponential increase in deal flow, which just means the number of deals and the size of the crowd. More capital then creates more deals. It then feeds faster deals. So you get this compound effect that comes from creating a network and the scale that the network can deliver, that we believe will translate to unprecedented growth for equity crowdfunding. It also makes equity crowdfunding viable in markets where it previously wasn't viable, because they're no longer critically dependent on just a local crowd. They can tap into a global crowd. So it really redefines the market opportunity. And as you can see from this diagram, it's a very simple concept. What we're doing is we're allowing different independent platforms to connect with each other and share deals with each other that are then exposed to the combined crowd across all of these different platforms. One of the points of friction that I talked about a minute ago is the liquidity challenge for holding shares in a privately held business. And so again, as almost all of you, I'm sure, are aware, the Dacxi Chain proposition is that we will tokenize those share issues, okay? So the capital that's raised and the shares that are issued in return, we will be tokenizing those shares. And what that does is it provides liquidity options to the investor that just simply aren't otherwise possible. So we're addressing those two primary hurdles around scale and liquidity. The final point I want to make is that we are not a crowdfunding solution ourselves, okay? We are the pipes that actually create the network. And we offer that to our partners as what we call a platform as a service. We're not actually a platform ourselves that's raising funds. We don't have our own crowd that we're looking to recruit. We're simply the pipes that connects all of these other platforms and allows a deal from one platform to be exposed to a crowd on another platform, and vice versa, and in combination through the network as it grows. Okay, so I think hopefully that's all understood. This is really important, the opportunity that Dacxi Chain creates. So today, it's a $1 to $2 billion market. Very conservatively, we believe it should be a $100 billion or plus market. We look at the number of potential investors that exist in the world today that would be interested in tapping into these types of investment opportunities, the volume of deals that we can start to share across the network through all the participating platforms. We look at the average amount of capital that's being raised now and into the future, which we believe it will grow. And we look at this and we say, look, very conservatively, over a few innovation cycles that we're embarking on now, we don't see why equity crowdfunding couldn't become a $100 billion market or more. And of course, at that point, what equity crowdfunding achieves for growth companies is just materially different, but also equity crowdfunding's role in the broader global innovation economy is completely reimagined. So that feels to us like something that's really worth showing up for. And it's just really important that we can talk about the problem and the solution, but we have a very clear fix on the scale of the opportunity that this solution creates. And we think that's enormously important. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to give you a really quick look at the platform. I'm going to sort of talk through a couple of features that we highlight in this video as we go. So partners are given an account. These are equity crowdfunding partners, and they log into that account. There's a whole range of features that they can access that you would expect. But the first place we take them is the marketplace. And this is where we collect all of the deals that have been shared across the network. And they can filter those deals based on the name of them and whether or not they own the deal or another partner in the network owns the deal. They drill into the deal and they can see all of the information that's been created by the platform that created the deal. They can see all that information laid out here for them in a very simple menu structure on the left that goes through information about the offer, the company, the use of funds, the investment history, the financial history of the business. To create a deal themselves, they simply click create deal, give it a name, and then confirm. And then what we do is we take them into a blank form where they essentially just go and complete all of the information you just saw to inform all the other partners in the network about the deal. So the investment target, the dates for the deal, it's the same menu structure on the left that they complete. Some of the fields are open text, some of them they're uploading files, and then they save that deal into a list called My Deals. So once they've created the deal, they can then go to the My Deals section, which we're doing now, where they can see all of their deals. So these are deals that belong to the equity crowdfunding partner that's logged into the system. And they can drill into that same deal. One of the things that we show them is we show them a full audit trail of everything that anyone inside their business has done as they've worked on this deal. So from creating the deal to approving the deal internally to sharing it across the network, all of that information is captured in an audit trail where individuals and date and timestamps are captured. Again, that's really helpful for regulatory purposes. And then when they're ready, they can come in here. They can view all the details of the deal that they've already entered, make sure that they're comfortable with everything. They don't want to make any more changes. Everything is as it should be. And when they're ready, they can simply go straight back up to the top and they can share the deal with the rest of the Dacxi Chain network. So with that one click, share with the network, what that means is that deal has now been shared with all of the other platforms that are plugged into our platform. And when the user goes to the marketplace, which we looked at initially, you can now see that deal appears in the marketplace because it's been shared with the entire network. And just as we did at the beginning, you can drill into the deal, look at all the information associated with the deal. So the deal is always represented uniformly and consistently. So look, that was a quick run through, but hopefully I just thought it was important that people actually see what we've been busy working on. There's a lot of complexity under the hood that we're managing, but the experience that we present to the partners is by design hugely simplified and very intuitive. So we think it's going to be a great product experience. So if we just keep moving through, this is a really exciting part of this presentation for me because I've spent an enormous amount of time with our foundation partners. And so I want to just share with you who they are and where we're at with that whole process today. So if we just go to the next. So the first thing you need to understand is that finding foundation partners is not about talking to anyone. It's quite the opposite. You've really got to pick the right partner, and that's about the profile of the business, the size of the business, the extent to which they've innovated previously. It's about their reputational standing in their local market. It's about how connected they are. It's about all of those different things. So we've gone through and we've approached a very small number of equity crowdfunding platforms and invited them to become foundation partners. And look, what I'm really pleased to share with you today is that we've secured foundation partners in Australia, also in New Zealand, and UK partner discussions are well progressed. So I'd hope to be able to share some news with you on that front very soon. Both of these partners, one in Australia, one in New Zealand, and again, we didn't want more than this. We wanted a very small number. because it's really a deep dive with those partners into all of the moving parts that make the technology work, rather than having lots and lots of partners too soon. These partners are obviously established, they're fully licensed, and perhaps most importantly, they have superb reputations in each of their markets. So I'll give you a quick summary on each of them. We'll just go to the next slide. So Equitise, which is an Australian-based equity crowdfunding platform, they were established back in 2018. They were one of the first platforms in Australia to receive a retail crowdfunding license. They're a trans-Tasman platform, but based and operating primarily in Australia. They've got a very broad range of investors. They've attracted not just retail investors, but also professional investors because of the quality of the deals that they've offered historically. And as you'd expect, they're incredibly well connected into both the local investment community and also the local business community, because they need to source great deals and they need to grow their crowd simultaneously. So that's a little bit about Equitise. If we move to the next slide, this is about Snowball Effect. Now, Snowball Effect are the #1 equity crowdfunding platform in New Zealand. They launched their first crowdfunding offer right back in 2014. So they are super experienced. They know how to do this. They know how to do it well. And the evidence of that is that today they are larger than all of the other equity crowdfunding platforms in New Zealand put together. They have about 70% market share, and they're incredibly well connected into the local business community with early stage companies, and they've got a large and growing investor base. So these are two very high quality partners, which is exactly what we always wanted. The quality of the conversation that we're having with these partners, and have been for a long time now, is always high. They're interested in the detail, and we've worked with them really closely to cover a lot of that in both the creation of the spec for our platform, but then actually go and making refinements to that in the lead up to getting to this point today for the launch. So two incredibly high quality foundation partners. I'd encourage you to go and have a look at what they're doing, and we expect that we'll have more to talk about when it comes to foundation partners very soon. So if we can just go. So I'm really pleased to be able to announce today that on Tuesday, the 18th of July, so as we sit here, it's the 28th of June, we're nearly into July. So in a very short period of time, we will publicly announce the first deal that will be funded via Dacxi Chain. Okay, so that deal is secured. We're working through the detail of it. All the plans are well progressed, and we will publicly announce that deal on Tuesday, the 18th of July. Everyone will be sent information in relation to that. Usually that comes in the form of an email, and obviously an invitation to join that announcement. Shortly after that announcement, that deal will open for investment. And in the announcement, we'll confirm the exact date on which the deal will open, but it will happen shortly after the announcement itself. And of course, all of you are very much invited to participate in that first deal, and we'll share with you well in advance all the details you need to know about how you can get involved if you would like to. And a lot of that information will be shared on the announcement, in the announcement rather, on the 18th of July. So look, I said to you it'd be a fairly quick presentation today. That concludes the presentation. I just want to take the opportunity to thank everybody for their support. It means an enormous amount to us, but it's actually why this project is possible. I want to thank them for their patience to get to this point. We're at the very pointy end of this now. The launch is a great milestone for all of us, and we're really looking forward to going down this path and sharing with you the first deal on the 18th of July. So that's it from me. A big thank you to everybody for joining the webinar. And I look forward to talking to you again all really, really soon.